What's up? Really? It has been dry here all day. It's actually too dry here. Plants are dying from the lack of moisture. I think we had some rain yesterday. I'm training with a bullworker now from Japan. Like, you guys have a unique model, don't you? Like with 2 springs. I don't know if you own that particular one. I'm not ready yet for the bull one. Well, you know when you're ready. I saw a new power twister with the dual spring. Yeah, you can also use that one for curling, right? I think I know which one you mean. I personally found that particular model quite interesting. It's like one of those things that I might actually consider to get. Let's see. It says no licensing for that one. Yeah, sure. Search it up. I'll hang my other phone. Let it charge. And if you give me the name, I can look it up. Thanks, bruh. Okay. Let me see. Phone has to charge. I have the 40 kilo one now of the classic one. The classic one, like you're talking about a power twister, right? This one, like many people have asked me, and I think that this one is between 20 and 30 kilos. Like it's either 20 or 30 kilos. That's what I assume. Cheap? No, that's the weight. 20 or 30 kilos. I'm not sure how much the price of this one was. This one was owned by my father, so it's older than I am. I think, I don't know. Oh yeah. Well, yeah, I think you're trying to say light, right? Like low resistance. You know, if I was only training my chest with a power twister, maybe one that was a little bit heavier would be more adequate. But I combine many different types of training, which is why I prefer to use lighter weights. You 50 kilos, you think? I really doubt it. You know, that would kind of give the same resistance as 25 kilos for each arm. I have a few twisters now, good stuff. Yeah, I like them. They're great. I wish the Bullworker company would produce them. Like repetitions? Not sure. I already did around 50 repetitions of pressing. I did a set with the steel bow. I did a few sets with this. Yeah, if I was fully rested, I don't know, at least 20. Yeah, that's with a classic. I don't know, man. Like, it really depends on what you train for, you know? Like, if you really train a lot with a power twister, for me it usually is a small part of my workout. So if for you the power twister is a large part of your workout, then you will definitely be better at doing those particular exercise than I am. But if you can see, that's enough for me. That's 30. Yeah, see, like it has been a large part of your training regime for 6 months. For me, it has only been a small part. So you are more adapted to using power twisters for your training. I train more with the bull worker and with free weights. It's the same thing with calisthenics. Like a beginner can do calisthenics and can eventually be very good, and someone that's proportionally a lot stronger that has never done calisthenics will be very bad at calisthenics. Oh yeah, I think you told me. One of them broke. That was the one that you could change, right? That you could adjust. Let's see. Yeah, I have a new one from Inu that seems like I'm lucky and has fabric damage. Oh, that sucks. So I can't work more than 60 kilos. Like I've never really, I've never owned a heavy power twister, so I don't really know how it would be to work with one of those. I think it takes a specific type of athlete to really want to work with that. Okay, 30 made now. That's more like it. I just hope it's really 40. That's why in my first video I said I was disappointed. Any ideas where you can find those kinds of bands? I can only ever find handled ones and the thin ones girls put around their thighs for squats, etc. Yeah, Pilates bands. That's what you're talking about. So the ones that I have, they come from The Action, which is a store that sells all kinds of things. It's basically, you know, a real life physical AliExpress. And AliExpress is, wait, is it AliExpress or Alibaba? One of those. You can get these resistance bands really cheap. And the quality from what I've seen is usually quite adequate. It's a lot cheaper than getting them anywhere else, really. Just tried what you did with the Classic. Yeah, Amazon is usually okay for these things, I'd say. Let's see. One more set for the chest. Then I'm gonna do the back, and then I'm gonna do the abs. Yeah. That's that. If I had some leftover money, I would buy one of those new ones, but I guess I need to wait when another brand makes a clone cheaper. It's 90 euros at the moment. One, you mean one that where you can change the resistance? Awesome, I'll have to check those places. I've checked Amazon and eBay only with no luck, but that was a while back. Yeah, again, like, in my opinion, the best place to get these things when it comes to cheap fitness devices than Alibaba or AliExpress is the man. It's either one of the two. Like, one of them is for bulk quantities, right? To stock up on supplies, and the other one you can just buy single devices. A good substitute for bands is the bungee cords you can buy at auto parts stores. Yeah, I would assume so. The double spring resistance. If you need, I'll comment it on the video. I think I know which one you're talking about, but sure. Link it in a comment. Yeah, I think I know which one you're talking about. Let's see. Got to do the back now. All right, man. Good luck at your job. Let's see. Do you use the Bulwark for apps? Yes, I do. It's probably one of the more effective and safer ways to do crunches. It's not the only thing I use for apps, but it's definitely makes up a large part of the exercise that I use for well, the core in general, really. 30 minutes to go. Arms look insane. Thanks, man. You think? I think I've lost about an inch on them since the last video I did. Do you do any cardio? I do some cardio, but very little. I do an amount of cardio that I feel is adequate for my program, for my goals. Preferably, it might be better to do more cardio in my case, I don't know. But yeah, I jog here and there. I work with the battle rope, which is cardio. Part of my routine. No, a big part of my routine depends on doing high volume, which I do consider to be cardio. I cycle. Actually, like we have a cycle here. Right. But I also just like, so in that sense, I do cardio, but I don't like make an effort to do it. Biceps look great. Thanks, man. Hey, welcome to the live stream. What do you think of the Bully Extreme? What do you think of it? I know it's one of those devices that has gotten some bad press for whatever reason. I'm not sure why, but I have no personal experience with it. What was the main complaint? I think that's something to do with the quality of the device. I know there are also many people that are very positive about the device, so I don't know. I do know that when it comes to versatility, when it comes to what you can do with the device, then it will never be able to beat one of these. Simply for the reason that you can change the springs with this one. The exercise that I was doing, yeah, you do work the arms with it, but it's mostly for the latissimus. Like I can probably demonstrate. Probably a good idea to take my shirt off considering how sweaty I am. It's supposed to work this muscle and also this one. This is dorsey and boy, what's the name? The boxer muscle, but that's not the official name, because you can see that's what it's supposed to work. Yeah, thanks, man. This is this is probably the third proper workout that I've done in the last 30 days or so. So, like, I'm happy that I have been able to retain quite a bit of muscle, despite being so inactive as I have been. Which is an attestament of itself. Let's see, have I skipped anything? Doesn't look like it. Okay. Let's see. On with my back. Actually, I can do one more exercise. Yeah, that's fine. That's enough of that. Do you believe that posing, flexing helps increase the mind-muscle connection? Absolutely. No doubt. If you teach yourself how to better flex a muscle, how to better contract it, then you will make a better connection in the sense of like how you should contract that muscle. So there's no doubt about that. It works especially well for muscles that are usually undertrained. So for example, the hamstrings. Like many times when you do things like deadlifting or you know, this exercise. This one. It is supposed to train the hamstrings, but in my opinion it isn't very effective if you don't have a proper mind-muscle connection. And actually the best thing you can do to get a proper mind-muscle connection is to start with just flexing and creating a mind-muscle connection, which you do through, like I said, flexing. My favorite pose. Probably this one. Yeah, that's my favorite pose from the side. How many calories do you eat in a day? I don't really count at the moment, but when I want to gain weight, I assume at least 3,300. I have some reservations when it comes to how much everyone should eat, depending on their goals and depending on their body type. I personally think that someone like me might be better off eating less. Because for me, once I go over a certain excess, it's not really utilized anymore to build up more muscle or even to store fat. It's just not in my genetics to, be able to hold up on to a lot of excess matter, even like water weight. So, when it comes to how much you should eat, it's very individual. And I definitely would not say that more is always better if you want to gain mass, as strange as that might sound. Let's see. Strange. Seems like I'm missing a spring. Yeah, so much for the saying, eat big to get big. Yeah, it doesn't go for everyone. It doesn't work for everyone. Like many people, once they start eating beyond a certain threshold, all that happens is that they go to the toilet more often. So it just doesn't work. What do you think are the best exercise for strengthening the lower back? Well, definitely deadlifts. Definitely deadlifts. Also, if you can see it, is one. Carnivore diet. What about the carnivore diet? My diet is a whole foods plant-based diet. And that is what I've been following for almost 5 years now. Yes. Yes, I am. Are you new to the channel? Okay. Well, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the live stream. So what's your diet? Okay. And how's that working for you? Are you doing like the ancestral thing? Are you doing the raw meat thing? You know, the ancestral diet is more like, I guess what Frank is doing, or what Frank is doing, or like the raw meat diet. It's like Savage is doing, or are you doing the thing that Sean Baker does? Yeah, you do like the ancestral diet? Okay. Well, like if I had to choose between all the versions of the carnivore diet, I would probably say that what Frank does is about as good as you can do it. Oh, you do the raw carnivore diet. Okay. Like the worst version is probably the Sean Baker version of the diet. Worked well for me, I lost weight easily. Yeah, that's usually the case when you do a diet that's low in carbohydrates and high in fat and protein. Like you kind of bring your body in a state where it becomes very hard to store up fat. And like if you look at like a typical diet, bodybuilder diet to get lean and get cut, the typical usual diet for that is high in protein, high in fat, low in carbohydrates, which is great to lose fat, but in my opinion it's good to hold on to muscle that you have, but it's not ideal in my opinion to build up new mass. I have not really seen people that do the diet that have shown to be capable to build up like a real new lean tissue. Strangely enough, I had expected that that the version that Frank Tufano is doing, the diet that is high in fat, protein, and carbohydrates through dietary dairy and honey, I would have expected that his results would have been a little bit better than that they were. Especially considering that he has, has a real history in bodybuilding. And he should have, like, a lot of, how should I put it? Muscle memory. Well, it depends on the person. Probably. I cannot speak for everyone. But all I'm saying is that the typical diet in bodybuilding for losing fat, losing excess weight, that is usually a diet that is high in protein, high in fat. But that is a cutting diet. And that is kind of what the carnivore diet does for a lot of people. From my perspective, at least. What is your thoughts on Gatus Severage and his diet? I think Gatus is... Yeah, what's the best way to describe him? Where to start with him? He's a very complex figure, I would say. I think he's kind of creating his own philosophy on not just diet, but on life itself. And I would say that his perspective, you could say that depending on how you look at it, there is some truth to it. There is also a lot of insanity to it. And overall, I think that he's not smart enough to do what he is trying to do. I also think that I don't really know what his problem is, but he has a really big problem with people that think even slightly different than him, which was very apparent with that whole thing with Ludwig. He had a similar thing happen with Meat of the Matter. Like, people that really adored the guy initially, he dropped those people over very insignificant things. Like, Meat of the Matter talked with a person that Severage didn't like. That was enough reason for Severage to drop the whole friendship. And with Ludwig liked sauna, Severage didn't. That was enough reason for Severage to just stab Ludwig in the back. And that is kind of the type of things you see with small children. So I think that Severage lacks a certain development that most of us go through at the age of like 8 to 12. And I think that is very problematic once you're going to bring out a whole philosophy about life and how you should live and all that other good stuff. Let's see. Let's work in my apps. All right. I think I'll go for 10 more minutes and then I close the live stream. Do you work out at a gym also? I do not. I do not. No reason to, really. Isn't anything that I can do at home. So I think I'm just gonna take it easy from now on. So if anyone has questions. The correct way to breathe while exercising, should we hold the breath for some seconds? No. No, if I'm doing that, then that's my mistake. We should always just breathe. Just keep our breath in tune with the exercise. Not particularly, no. Like I will sometimes include some yoga exercise in my routine, but it's definitely not a part of, you know, what I usually do. I think there's nothing wrong with doing yoga though. And from what I have seen, it is very helpful for many types of athletes. So there's nothing wrong with doing yoga. And I think that it's I think it's really important to have a way to relieve stress if you're doing exercise, if you're working out, and for some people that is yoga or meditation. And of course, yoga has its own unique benefits. It's good for flexibility, and it also can teach you how to breathe properly while moving. How many springs does the steel bow have? I think the new one has 5, and the one I own has 3. Yeah, many vegans do yoga, sure. I probably know more people that are not vegan to do yoga than people that are vegan to do yoga. Okay. That's enough for today. So let's go, I don't know, 5-10 more minutes. So if you guys have a question, then ask away. Because the live stream is about to end in a few minutes. What is the psychological benefits of veganism? Kind of depends on your background. It depends a lot on how you're doing the diet. You know, you really have to put it in context. Like if you come from a really shitty diet, then usually your overall psychology will improve if you go on a whole plants, plant-based diet, whole foods plant-based diet. Did veganism change the way you see the world and your environment? No, really. I wouldn't say so. I think I held a lot of the beliefs about the moral aspect about veganism before I went vegan. And through time, it's not as if those feelings have gotten any stronger than that they were before. I gotta say that when it comes to psychology, in my honest opinion, when I see people change from a really bad diet to a specific diet protocol, typically you will see that their psychological health will improve. But what I don't really see is people that go from even a really poor version of the vegan diet that go on the carnivore diet, that they really change their psychology. I don't really see that happen. I see that certain mannerisms might change, certain thought processes might change, but overall, the person, in my opinion, stays very much the same, or their behavior might even change for the worse. But that's all really subjective stuff, I guess. Masculinity and femininity, veganism and carnivores. Yeah, I don't really think that masculinity and femininity is that dependent on diet. Well, it is, but if you do a adequate diet that accounts for all of the necessary nutrients, if you don't have weird underlying conditions, then I don't think your masculinity or your femininity will change very much. I think that a mindset, a philosophy can have a more profound effect on your own perceived idea of masculinity and femininity. I think that, like, for example, what you see is that the carnivore diet, it's usually done by people that are alt-righters. And alt-righters kind of have a philosophy of, like, you have to be, masculine, you have to be a certain type of man. And that has more to do with the philosophy that's attached to an idea. But, I will say that I have in the past done a diet that was very low in fat, that was high in sugar, that was not high enough in protein, and that did negatively affect my masculinity. I have a video on it. I think I'm about to end the live stream. If anyone has a question, then be quick, because I'm about to end this. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the live stream. I'm going to do this more often, these live streams while working out. Initially, I wanted to bring out a workout plan to show you exactly what I've been doing for the past few months. But I think that it might be better to show examples of what I'm actually doing. I think that might actually be more effective, especially in these times where, a lot of people are forced to sit at home. This is a good way to show you guys what you can do with all types of tools, be it resistance bands, pull workers, power twisters, chest expanders. I'll show you how you can effectively train with all of these things. Good to hear your thoughts, man. No problem. Thanks for joining the live stream. And enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.